Hello, this is Billy Joe Saunders, WBO middleweight champion of the world. Subscribe to Sport and Icons to stay in touch with all the top news. God bless you all.
So you can't open up the internet, look on boxing news without seeing the headlines that Saul Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders have agreed to fight in May. Apparently this deal is done, although nothing official has come out of the camp of Billy Joe Saunders or Eddie Hearn, so we'll have to wait for that officially. But apparently this deal is done, it's agreed in principle, all the terms and everything is agreed for a fight in May, providing of course Canelo gets past Avni Yildirim next month. He's mandatory for the WBC at super middleweight, which I wouldn't advise putting your house on, but I wouldn't blame you if you did, that Canelo is going to get past Avni Yildirim. Should be pretty much a formality, right? But as it is boxing, you never know what's going to happen. Bigger shocks would have happened. But all going well, of course, a fight in May between Billy Joe Saunders and Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, I said quite some time ago, when all the talk was talked about Canelo, is he going to fight Callum Smith? Is he going to fight Billy Joe Saunders? I said that stylistically, Billy Joe Saunders is a more suitable fight in order to potentially get a win over Canelo Alvarez. I didn't see what Callum Smith really had that could defeat Canelo Alvarez, other than keep him at range, use the jab. Of course, that's the one thing he didn't really do. Canelo Alvarez dogged Callum Smith. He bullied Callum Smith. He had him on the back foot pretty much the entire fight, didn't he? Very, very one-sided. But stylistically, Billy Joe Saunders, he's awkward. He's fast. Not the biggest puncher in the world, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't like a punch off him, but it's enough of a power to get your respect. Canelo doesn't always get on too great with southpaws. Don't get me wrong, sometimes he handles them quite well. Other times, look at the Lara fight, not so much. Okay, but Billy Joe, very, very skillful. And for Billy Joe to get the win over Canelo Alvarez, he's going to have to pull out the performance of his career. He's going to have to pull out another performance like he did with David Lemieux. Because he ain't going to stop Canelo. If he does, I'll be very, very impressed. But I can't see him stopping Canelo. Not at all. And it is unfortunate when I say this, that the only way I can see Billy Joe winning is if he wins at least 10 of those rounds. Clearly wins 10 of those rounds. So the judges just can't go against him. And he may just get the decision. But more than probable a draw. But if he was to win all 12 rounds, even then, he might just scrape the decision. Because the only way to beat Canelo in this kind of era is you've got to nail him to the canvas. And we've seen nothing that would suggest anybody can nail Canelo Alvarez to the canvas. He's an absolute beast. Is he pound for pound number one? I have no problems with anybody saying that Canelo Alvarez is pound for pound number one. His resume is outstanding. It's outstanding. Multiple weight world champion. And I know people don't like him for whatever reason it may be. Maybe they feel that he gets some bias due to the WBC. He gets some gift decisions here, there and everywhere. And even in fights where arguably he won, the scorecards are quite wide in his favour. Okay? But let's not overlook Billy Joe Saunders here. Billy Joe Saunders could be a serious, serious test for Canelo. Billy Joe Saunders has a very, very good resume. Albeit, it's been at middleweight. At super middleweight, he has left a lot to be desired, let's be honest. But at middleweight, he has a very good resume. And people don't talk about it enough. People don't give Billy Joe Saunders enough credit for whatever reason it may be. Maybe they just don't like him, I don't know. But win over Chris Eubank Jr., win over Andy Lee. Nick Blackwell was actually a good win at the time. John Ryder, Gary Spike O'Sullivan, David Lemieux. Arguably, Willie Monroe Jr., arguably. But I think that Billy Joe Saunders is a serious test for Canelo. He's not one of those kind of guys like a Callum Smith or a Rocky Fielding, where he's that tall, upright Brit, where his body is exposed to be hit. He's a mover. Very, very skillful. Very, very skillful. But Canelo is the master of cutting off the ring. He's the master of counterpunching. He's the master of dictating how each and every round goes, how the fight goes. We know that about Canelo. Canelo is the brick destroyer. Destroyed Liam Smith, destroyed Callum Smith, destroyed Rocky Fielding. There's someone else missing there as well, I think. But is Billy Joe Saunders just going to be another Brit that Canelo just dismantles? Possibly. Possibly. Maybe the best days of Billy Joe are gone. Maybe they happened without Billy Joe even knowing about it. Maybe, we don't know. But with Mark Tibbs being in his corner, Mark Tibbs is an excellent tactician and that, of course. Wonderful trainer. His dad is a legend, Jimmy Tibbs. But I think that Billy Joe Saunders will have to pull out the performance of his career. No messing about, no giving away the first couple of rounds. He's going to have to win round number 1, 2, 3, and get into the groove, get into the flow from the opening bell. That's what he's going to have to do. That's how he's going to have to beat Canelo Alvarez. So if the judges don't give him the decision, it's a blatant robbery and investigations will have to happen. But it's a tall order. It's one thing to do it to David Lemieux. It's another thing to do it to Saul Canelo Alvarez. Billy Joe Saunders, he's not, I wouldn't say money motivated. Of course he wants to get paid well. Of course he does. He's not going to take a fight for less than he's worth. But I think that this is his moment to show that he is about all the things that he spoke about. He is the best. He's been saying it for a long time. He says that he beats Canelo 24/7. And he's been saying it for the past couple of years, that he would like that fight. And he just absolutely outboxes and destroys Canelo. Well, let's see if he can do it then. Let's see. He's talked the talk. Let's see him walk the walk. I'm a big fan of Billy Joe Saunders. I'm a biased Brit in that, of course. You do have to favour Canelo in this fight. You'd be a hard man to not favour Canelo in this fight, for sure. But I think that if anybody is going to defeat Canelo Alvarez, anywhere from middleweight up to light heavyweight, Billy Joe Saunders has the style to do it. So if he can't do it, I'd be damned to know who would, who could, honestly. But anyway, listen, that's my thoughts on it all. Hopefully that this fight does get officially confirmed. I'm pretty sure it does. Canelo, he's going to have to get past Abner Yildirim. Pretty much it should be a formality. I'm sure Billy Joe Saunders will have somewhat of a tune-up, or maybe he's mandatory in Zach Parker. That would be actually quite a tough fight for him, to be honest. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I'm sure Billy Joe will want to have a little bit of momentum going into that fight. Doesn't want to have that whole, well, he had a Martin Murray fight, and then that was it. I'm sure he's not going to want that kind of situation. But, hey, you never know. Anyway, drop your thoughts below about it. Make sure you click that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. Catch you all in the next video.